So, good evening, YouTube. I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening. It's Friday, it's nearly Christmas, and we have got a new manager, and he's done his press conference today. Literally watched that while Indian turned up. Oh, by the way, she was a salt. Can't even lie. That was very tasty. Excuse me. But I watched all of the press conference, every single bit of it. Took some notes on that. I'm going to go through that in a minute. Thank you to everyone watching live already as well. I know I've done, 3 streams today? Yeah, 3 streams today, plus the transfer video this morning. My transfer video for tomorrow morning will be done tomorrow because I'm having a chill out evening. So that will be out tomorrow. And then I'll be doing the starting 11 reaction for the game and then doing a watch along with Guna Eagle Eye. So anybody who wants to go and subscribe to Guna Eagle Eye, link is in the description. Go and check him out. But I've written some notes down on my phone. I'm going to go through the press conference. He actually spoke very well. But so did Unai Emery. Well, actually, Unai Emery didn't speak very well. It was all about good evening and club and all that. But anyway, let's get into it. He spoke about the expectation levels. He spoke about the change of energy and trying to convince the players of the philosophy that he wants to bring to the team and to the club. He then went on to the fans need to be engaged, and that has to come from what we are doing on the training pitch and on match day. Which is very true because, listen, a lot of these players have took the mick for a long time. He's got to go in there. He's got to try and change the expectation levels of the football club from being, oh, well, it don't matter if we just get top 6. We want to go higher than that. A lot of these players are in their comfort zone. A lot of them are coming towards the end of their careers rather than starting their careers. And you can tell that when you see them on the pitch. Some of these players are walking around like, oh, it don't matter. I've made my money. I've made my career. I'm on a downward spiral rather than an upward spiral. If you look at Martinelli, he's a guy that's got a point to prove, and he's a guy that's on an upward turn, and he's trying to make his career at the club and in football. And you can see that with the hunger and desire that he shows every time he goes on the football pitch. Other players amble off the pitch when they're substituted. Lacazette, Xhaka, Ozil, Free. In the last 2 months, probably not even 2 months, probably 6 weeks, walking off the pitch like it don't matter. And if you add up their wages every year, then that shouldn't be happening. But at the same time, they've gone through the, excuse me, they've gone through the point of, well, it don't really matter anymore because they've got enough money in the bank. Don't matter if they don't ever play football again. Whereas Martinelli's probably on about 12, 15 grand a week. So it does matter if he plays football again. And you can see that when they're on the pitch. Let's move on. He then started saying that he needs to implement the changes quickly and we need to get the right vibe. Every single player should be privileged to play for this football club. And that is something I've been saying for a very long time, by the way. These players, they don't feel like it's a privilege to play for Arsenal Football Club. They just go through the motions of, well, I live in London. Yeah, I got a nice car, I got a nice wife, I got a nice house. I don't care if they play for Arsenal. And that's something that that he spoke about changing. He said it should be a privilege. He said that he needs to be ruthless. He was asked a question, what is the one thing that Pep Guardiola has taught you? Which I thought was a fantastic question because he could have reeled off anything. And he actually came out with this. He said, Pep's a nice guy. His work rate is incredible. You have to believe and be united and strong. But the one thing I would say is that he is extremely ruthless. Now, anybody who's watched the documentary on Man City, I think it was on Amazon, would know that he is ruthless. Yes, he comes across as a nice guy. Yes, he comes across as a quiet guy. Anyone who's watched that, when he started firing into players in the dressing room, not in that way, come on, don't get Larry and all that. When he started giving it to the players in the dressing room, they all literally cacked their pants and they all sat there and were like, oh my God, Pep's going off on one. And that is something that we have lacked at this club for a very, very long time. Even under Arsene Wenger, the invincible teams and all that, every single one of them players has said Arsene Wenger never used to speak at halftime. He just used to let the players sit there for the whole time and do nothing. Like they just used to sit and think about how their second half was going to be. Then it'd be down to the captain to stand up and have his little penny's worth. But Wenger never really used to do the hair dryer treatment like Fergie used to do. So it's going to be a culture shock. Listen, if he goes into that dressing room and starts going off at people, like I said earlier, Hector Bellerin, Granit Xhaka and Mesut Ozil, will be a quivering wreck in the corner and probably won't come out for the second half. Yeah, fully be a treble sub at half time because they're all a nervous wreck. Because some of these players have never had that treatment. Some of them would fully crumble under that treatment. Now, if he is going to do that, then listen, that's what I want. I want somebody to come in and literally kick off on these players. They take liberties, and they have done. Let's move on. He then went on to, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I could do it. And at that point, I thought, well, Unai Emery said that. And we all know how that ended up. That's not to say that it's going to end up the same for Mikel Arteta. He was then asked about Mesut Ozil, like he's ever going to come out and say he's crap and I'm going to bin him. He's never going to say that, was he? Let's be real. So I think that was a kind of stupid question to ask him. They said, why do you think his performances have been lacking, etc., etc.? He just said it's mainly a confidence thing. I need to understand what the players want, what I can give the players and what their hopes and aspirations are, etc. He said Ozil's a fantastic player. Well, listen, he's lied through his teeth with that one, let's be real, because he hasn't been a fantastic player since he's got here. He was then asked about January transfer window. He said there's been no discussions on that. Again, I think he's lied on that. There's no way he's come to this football club without knowing what he can and can't do in January. The fact is, he's never, ever going to sit there and say, oh, by the way, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to try and offload 3 or 4 players and we're going to try and bring in 2 or 3. Because then you've dealt your card straight away and all of a sudden, every club in Europe goes, yeah, another 10 mil on top. Thank you very much. He was then asked about the long-term goal and the short-term goal. He said the long-term goal is Europe and trophies. That is the only thing that's acceptable for the club. Like I said, again, he's talking a good game. The short-term goal is just to get the confidence back of the fans, the players, everybody at the club. He then went on to being asked about his coaching team, and he said that that's in the hands of the lawyers, which obviously suggests he knows who his coaching staff are going to be. But it's now a case of Arsenal doing a compensation package for all those involved. That pretty much concluded the press conference, but excuse me, but he talks a good game. He said a lot of things that I thought, you know what, cool. Now let's see if you can implement that. When he's talking about players and if they're not up for the fight, if they're not up for the task, then they won't be here. Well, let's see if that is the case, because Unai Emery tried doing that with a certain Mesut Ozil, and this muggy fan base, and it is a muggy fan base, sat online cussing him, tweeting him, telling him to get out of the club. So if he does do that with Mesut Ozil, then are the same fans that did it with Unai Emery going to start tweeting Mikel Arteta, and they're going to start sitting there saying, well, he should leave the club because he's dropped the best number 10 in world football. The fact and reality is the best number 10 in world football plays for Man City. The team Arteta's just left. And he put on a full masterclass last weekend at the Emirates and scored a fine brace and set up Sterling's goal. So I don't think that when he's sitting there talking about Ozil, that he's saying, oh, he's a fantastic player, this and that. If he bins him, then fair play to him, because I've wanted him binned for a long time. There's reports going out at the moment that Ozil's linked to Fenerbahce. That's quite far down the chain. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true the story about Granit Xhaka is going to Hertha Berlin. That's about his level, if we're being honest, because he ain't a Premier League footballer. Never has been, never will be. Not good enough. But I just think that listening to what he said, I'm still cautious. It's all talk until you put that talk into practice. And again, people can sit there and come at me and say, oh, you're negative, you're toxic, the buzzword of the month. At the end of the day, I've heard the same old rubbish for 15 years. I heard it under Wenger, I've heard it under Gazidis, I've heard it under Raul and Vinay, I've heard it under Emery, I've heard it under Freddie at certain times in press conferences, and now I've heard it under Mikel Arteta. Until somebody actually proves that they are going to bin some of these players, then it's all talk, innit? That's how I see it, which is why I'm at the point where prove me wrong. So I just think that I've seen a lot of people that are sheep. I've seen a lot of people online, people that were fully Emery out from day one, fully Emery out from maybe 2 months in, 3 months in, all the way through the 22 unbeaten run. This is not the guy. He's not changed nothing. We haven't got a style of play, that are fully jumping on board this. Oh, Arteta is amazing. He's amazing. Well, great, cool. I understand why you want to back him. Cool, fantastic. Don't sit there and dig me out if I don't want to. I will back my team at 12:30 tomorrow when they play a game against Everton, by which time Arteta will not be in the dugout as far as I'm aware. He's not taking charge until Sunday. Whether he's at the game or not, I'd imagine he would be, being an ex-player for both clubs. So I'd imagine he'd be there. But at the same time, as Tom Gooner says, actions speak louder than words. And I have had words from the club for years. I'm sick and tired of, oh, let's start another project. Oh, we've got to wait again. Why are Arsenal the club that have to wait? Why are we always 2 players short? Why are we always a defender short, a midfielder short? Why are we always a project? I'm sick and tired of being a project. If people can't understand that, well, tough. That's my opinion on it. Yeah, back the manager all you like. I fully rate you if you back him. I will back him when he proves me wrong, because until then, it's all words. Ozil will shine under Arteta. In what way, mate? In what way, buddy? Let me know. He needs to axe a good few players, says Rave. Totally agree. Ozil will be given a fresh start and he won't bin him. Well, there you go. He'll hang himself then, won't he? It will fully hang himself. A ball hasn't been kicked and you want Arteta to leave. Mikel, if you're going to sit there and chat shit in my comments, mate, yeah, just leave my stream and don't come back, because I fully see what you were saying the other day on a certain other person's stream as well. So don't come in here chatting crap. Just leave or I'll just boot you, mate. It's as simple as that. Where have I said I want Arteta out? Can you tell me where I've said that? Yeah. I've said I won't back him until he proves otherwise. So don't twist my words, mate, yeah? Maybe go back to your other pal stream and start chatting shit about me again like you were the other day, yeah? Ozil can't shine in the sun. Well, there we go. Ozil will flick his hair and stroll around. Listen, the fact is, 3 managers have not been able to get a proper tune out of Mesut Ozil. Kevin De Bruyne this season has already got more assists, and I know you lot love an assist stat, than Mesut Ozil has got in the last 2 seasons. And Man City ain't been great this season, and we're only halfway through the season. So anyone who thinks that is thinking that, in my opinion, through blind faith of what that guy done 6 years ago. Because let's be real, when was the last time he was good? When was the last time Granit Xhaka had a consistent run of 3 games? In fact, not even 3. Yeah, let's say 3. Can somebody name 3 games in a row where Granit Xhaka, you thought, wow, he was immense today? Because I can't. I can't. Can anyone? When was the last time you looked at that team as a whole and went, yeah, relentless? Last 3 games, we've been superb. So it's a tough job. I don't knock him for taking that. I don't knock him for taking that at all. And if I was offered the job, I would take the job. So I don't knock Arteta for taking the job. For people to sit here and chat shit and say and put words in my mouth that I haven't said, listen, get out of my stream, man. I don't want you in my streams if you're going to change my words and twist my words around. The way I see it is, I don't want Arteta as manager of the football club that I have supported for 30 years. If people have got an issue with that, tough, grow up. It's my opinion. Yeah, it's not going to change how you watch the game tomorrow, is it? Knowing that, oh my God, Lee Gunner doesn't want Arteta. And if it does, then you need a new sport. The game has changed. Ozil doesn't fit, says Colin. Completely agree. Medellin Media says Xhaka is bin. Put him in the bin. We need to stop hating on Ozil. No, I will fully hate on him until he's out of my football club. He epitomises everything that's wrong with it. Big up yourself, even though I'm a Chelsea fan. Thank you, mate. In fact, great that you've joined my stream. Thank you, James. When Rafa Benitez was manager of Chelsea, his first game was against Man City. 95% of Chelsea fans in that stadium. That day, I watched it on Sky, 95% booed him as he came out. He went on at the end of that season to win a Europa League and an FA Cup, all the way through that whole hate campaign from 95% of Chelsea fans. So when people sit there and go, oh, it's toxic, you're not helping the team. Well, toxic Chelsea fans didn't stop Chelsea players and manager going on to win 2 trophies that season. So stop chatting rubbish about, oh, you're toxic online. Grow up, mate. Seriously. Anybody who says that, do you seriously think the whole squad has sat down watching this stream right now going, oh my God, he's so toxic. I can't believe he's not backing the manager. Let's have it right here, yeah? Them players are paid an absolute king's ransom to play for my football club, right? And they have taken the wholesale mick for years. Now, I'm sorry, we didn't move from Highbury, in my opinion, for Mikel Arteta to be manager of this football club. Now, if people don't like the fact that I'm saying that, tough. It's my opinion. I don't ask you to click on this stream. It pops up on your YouTube. You click on it. If you can't handle my opinion, that is not my issue. I don't think he's good enough. When he proves otherwise, I will then hold up my hands and say, cool, I got it wrong. Until then, prove me wrong. Yeah. The amount of people I've seen that hated on Wenger, including myself, the amount of people that didn't want Unai Emery the day he was announced as manager. Oh, but he fully bottled it. He fully bottled it against Barcelona, 4-0 up. Yeah. All of that one. Well, all of them people are now sitting there going back Arteta. Well, based on what? Based on what? You know, the amount of sheep I have seen online today is just unreal. JCell R7 says, you think you're the dog's bollocks. Well, thanks for coming and lick mine for me, mate, because you sat in my chat again. So do stick a like on that, babes, for me. Mwah. Love you. Let's read some more of these out. 722 people watching live right now. Do stick a like on it. The amount of likes on this is only 70 right now, so I would appreciate if you drive the likes up. Mikel, you can sit there and say all that all you like, mate. Seriously, went way down in my estimations, mate. Didn't think I'd watch that, did you, pal? Anybody coming with any homophobic stuff, bye-bye, you're gone. There's no warning. It's done. See you, Shamar. Ozil was racially abused in Germany, says Ash. Well, can you put the direct quote from somebody who racially abused him in my chat and I'll read it out, mate? Whatever happens, we need to start winning football matches. Thank you very much, Malia. That is all we need to do. Now, like I said, whether I back the manager or not is irrelevant, because a lot of people in the comments that are backing the manager that don't particularly like me, that want to sit here and chat crap, will sit there and quote off Alex Iwobi when he was here. They'll quote off Mustafi, maybe even Xhaka, other players in the team. They will sit here and say they're crap, they're this and that. So it's okay to sit there and cuss a player who's playing on the pitch, but you're not allowed to sit there and not back the manager. Okay, cool. I understand now. Like I said, there's a lot of people that I've seen online that are sheep. They don't want to put their head above the parapet and say what they really think, because they like to play the game of, I don't want to upset people and get abuse online. But then what they'll do is they'll go with the masses until the masses start swinging the opposite way, and then they'll flop and go the opposite side. I've said from day one, I don't want him as manager. So there we go. It's clear. You can clip this video. You can clip the ones I've done 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. I said I don't want him as manager. When that changes is when he proves to me that he can do a good job. Until then, not my manager. Sorry, I back my team on match day. If people have got an issue with me doing that and not backing the manager, tough. Spurs fans are laughing at us. Well, listen, they've got a proper manager, mate. Somebody who's been there, done it, won it. Like I said, we're not a project. And the fact that people seem to be hyping up, like I said earlier on the stream I've done earlier, when it comes down to the crunch, all these people that are positive pollies, right? How many of them genuinely had Arteta as their first choice? Maybe even their second choice or third choice. Probably about that many, if we're in reality. But the fact is, everyone's jumped on this hype of, oh, he's going to bring Wenger ball back. He's sat next to Pep. Well, Steve Bold sat next to Wenger for 6 years. Does that mean he's good enough? No, it doesn't. Just because he talks a good game. I had 15 years of Arsene Wenger talking a good game. He never backed it for 15 years. So I'm sorry. Until then, until he proves to me that he is the right man to lead this team, then I ain't backing him. I'll back my team on match day. That's what I'm doing. If people don't like it, tough. I ain't stopping you watch the game. I ain't stopping you backing him. I rate you if you do back him. But at the end of the day, people want to sit there and start abusing. Cool. Watch if it goes the wrong way, because I am fully going back to all of my tweets and I am highlighting every single one of these hypocritical pricks that want to come with abuse. And it is abuse, like real nasty abuse. So I can take it. I got thick skin. I just sit there laughing and think, I've triggered you so bad over my opinion. Lee, you're a toxic fan. Just roll with it and let the good times roll. Love you, Flozanelli. I'm with you. Bad appointment. Well, listen, I do think it is a bad appointment. When you look at some of the managers that are out there, people will do anything to discredit Ancelotti. based on the fact he flopped at Napoli. Well, I'd rather somebody flop at Napoli than sit next to Pep. People will sit there and say, oh, Jose's finished. Well, I'll take Jose Mourinho in a heartbeat over any manager on the planet right now. Simeone, I got told all day the other day in my comments on Twitter, Simeone's washed up, he's a has-been, look at what he's doing this season. Are you mad? People would actually take Arteta over Simeone. And this is what I'm saying by sheep. A lot of people are sheep. And these people will only do and say certain things online and then to not get abused. But then offline, off camera, offline, they will say a totally different thing. I've been there. I've heard it when certain people have said one thing off camera, then gone on camera or on Twitter or Instagram and then said something completely different. The fact and reality is I don't give a toss what anybody on Twitter thinks of me. I genuinely don't care. I will stay true to my beliefs. And if people don't like it, that is their issue, not mine. Because when they do flip and go the opposite way, they're going to get rinsed. Trust me, because I would have still stuck to my beliefs. Now, if Arteta proves me wrong, like I said, I will sit there and say, fair enough. You got rid of Ozil. You got rid of Xhaka. You got rid of Mustafi. You've boosted us up the table. Winning football. I don't care if it's fantastic looking football, winning football. And now we're challenging for honours. When he does that, I'll change my tune. Until then, no. Evening, bro. I've been looking at your out for notification. I was against Arteta coming in. Excuse me. But he gave a good speech with good English. If he can fulfill his words and it comes true, then it will be good. Evening, DJ Furia. I completely agree. If he backs his talk, then yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a great appointment. I ain't even lying. It sounds like it's a great appointment if he backs his talk. But let's be real. Unai Emery tried backing his talk about the players have to be with us, they have to work or they'll not be in the team. The minute he drops Mesut Ozil, this fan base goes dizzy, you know, and that is where Mikel Arteta is going to have an issue, because if he plays Mesut Ozil, he's going to hang himself. If he doesn't play Mesut Ozil, this fan base will get his knickers in a twist again. The fact and reality is that guy needs to leave this football club and go to Turkey or anywhere, America, because that guy is on way too much money and he can't be asked. And then other players in that club sit there and go, oh, my man can't be bothered and he's on 350. Well, I'm only on 190. Do you know what? I can't be asked. Yeah, and it causes a massive issue. First choice Mourinho, second Arteta, third Simeone. Never wanted Ancelotti nor Allegri. I do understand your views though and respect them fully. Love your channel. Thank you very much. Somebody who doesn't agree with me 100%, but can have a civilized debate. And thank you for your donation as well, Connor. Appreciate that. This is the thing though, mate. Yeah, a lot of people. It's just noise, isn't it? It's just noise online. A lot of people would sit there and say, you need to back Arteta or you're not a proper fan. What if Jose took over? What if it was Jose we'd announced today? Wonder how many of these people would be sitting there backing Jose Mourinho after years of cussing him and saying, I won't back him if he comes. Would they suddenly become super fans again and back him? Oh, you're negative, you're toxic. It would be funny if it would have been Jose today to see the reaction of all these sheep that sat there crying about Emery as soon as he binned Ozil, telling me to be positive. Not really. I'll be positive tomorrow at 12:30 when the game kicks off. Let's read some more of these comments out for another 6 minutes, then I'm going to get myself out of it. It's almost like Ozil is not interested in football. Brother Yame is interested in Fortnite and politics. DJ Crane, evening to you. Lee ain't positive. Lee is all love, baby. Listen, I've been back in England 24 hours. We got the Stella back, baby. We got the Stella back. And I will drink to that, DJ Crane. Thank you for your donation, mate. I hope you have a wicked Christmas. I'll probably see you in the chat before then anyway. But this is the thing. People can't take realism. People can't take rawness and honesty, because this country, not just this country, but society as a whole, and especially social media, is full of snowflakes and flip-flops. Like I said earlier, somebody put a tweet out of mine from 2018, May 2018, when Arsene Wenger was gone and Arteta was linked to the job. And I said that I'd take Mikel Arteta. I can't cry for Wenger to go, blah, blah, blah. Fact and reality is I would have took a chimpanzee over Arsene Wenger. Now we've moved on 18 months later. They then put that tweet to my tweet the other day saying, I don't want Arteta, I ain't backing him. Oh, you're a flip-flop. How can you say this? Well, I can say that because I wanted that guy out of my football club for 7 years. So I would have literally took Mr. Bean. I would have took anybody in this chat. I would have took my 10-year-old daughter over him. Now, fast forward 18 months later, you've got Allegri available. You've got Ancelotti available. We could have had Jose Mourinho. You've got Rafa Benitez, who could be a possibility. And we went with Arteta. We left Highbury to compete with Europe's elite. And now we're going into the second half of the season, into 2020, with Mikel Arteta. Let that sink in. And all these people that are saying, oh, you've got to back the manager, are the same people crying about the owner. Well, the owner and the board employed Mikel Arteta. You lot are confused, seriously, because a lot of you don't back the owner and don't back the board. Yet you're sitting there backing Mikel Arteta, the guy that the board and the owners recruited, yeah? You lot seem confused. Spurs will win their first trophy this season, says Epic Family, and Arsenal fans will cry like babies and go, oh, but they've brought it. Oh, no, you can't cry that. It's Tottenham, innit? They ain't spent anything. There's so many reasons we are not good enough, says New York Guna. Evening to you, buddy. Arteta will soon find out these players are crap. Hopefully, I wanted Simeone, proven track record to sort the egos out. Evening to you, Mark. Well, this is the thing. Arteta is going to find out very quickly that these players are going to hang him and throw him under a bus, mate, because that's what they've done to the last 3 managers, including Freddie Ljungberg. Still triggering mother effers. Yes, I am, Chig. Big up, Chig. We're going to do a watch along tomorrow. Go and subscribe to him. Listen, I ain't triggering anyone. People get triggered because they can't handle facts and opinions that I spew, mate, because they're sheep. And like I said, I don't know if you've just joined now, I'm assuming you did. There's an awful lot of people online that say one thing online and then say a completely different thing offline. I've been there, I've heard it, and then they go online or they go onto a YouTube channel and they say something completely different online, then they come off and they give the real view offline. I am not that person. I will fully say on this and off, I do not want Mikel Arteta as manager. If he proves me wrong, I will hold my hands up. But all these little sheep, and a lot of them have come to the fore this week, trust me. I see all of you, yeah? I see all of you that sit there and spout one thing offline and spout one thing online. Playing your little game, yeah? Trying to stay in and not get too much negative attention, yeah? Guess what? Bring it on, bitches, because I don't care what any of you lot think of me. I will stay true to myself. I do not want him as my manager. Big up Neftali Hernandez. What transfer kitty do we feel the Cronkies will give Arteta if Ozil and Xhaka leave? Well, we won't get a transfer fee for Ozil. Xhaka, it could be 20 to 30 million, unless that's a loan as well, because there's an option of a loan on that, by the way. But again, that's another thing. If Mikel Arteta fails, he'll walk away smelling the roses either way, because it'll be, oh, well, the board and the owner didn't back him. Well, the board and the owner recruited him. So what are you talking about? You know, and it's so hypocritical from people. But in terms of answering your question, mate, I genuinely have no idea. I genuinely don't. It depends who goes, how much they go for, and how far into the window that they go. Because if they go right near the end, we're doomed. Because there won't be time to get better in. I'm not too confident he'll have a hard stand on Ozil. They used to be good friends when they played at the club. Exactly, Arsenal fan 13. He's going to sit there and fully pander to him like everybody else does because it's Mesut Ozil. Yeah, get out. You haven't been good enough for years. Not good enough. And if he does, like I said, that will be one of the nails in his coffin, mate. Because he's got rid of quite a few managers by the looks of it. Ozil is washed now. His fans were talking about him like he's 23-year-old. Now he's lost his form and his first touches are off. Bro, my man can't trap a ball anymore. I noticed that the other day. Evening to you. Jazz, hope you're good, mate. They have to pray that Arteta succeeds. Bro, trust me, if he doesn't, all the abuse I've got on the tweets that I've put out this week, I'm retweeting every single one of them. Yeah, the amount of crap people have chatted to me. And like I said, hypocrites everywhere. And I could fully out them, but I'm not a wrong un. I wouldn't sit there and tell people the conversations I've heard people say offline that have then switched to go online to keep it nice. But I could fully do that because I know a lot of people that go to games that say one thing offline, but go online to keep it nicey because they want to keep their reputations up. Cool. I see all of you. See every single one of you playing the game this week. Yeah, I'm not playing the game. I'm getting abused every day. And guess what? Bring it the fuck on. Bring it the fuck on. Because if it goes wrong, yeah, I'm going to out every single one of you. It's a disgrace that we let Ancelotti go to Everton. Thank you, Gunanav, but apparently he's washed up, along with Jose Mourinho. Arteta is crap until he is not. Completely agree. Completely agree. And like I said earlier, it's like getting the air stewardess to fly the plane. What's he ever done? Who are the snakes? I'll tell you when it all goes wonky, mate. Yeah, because I'll be tweeting every single one of them. I see who they are. It's not easy to it's not difficult, sorry, to see it. No. It's not DC, by the way. Listen, it's not him. 100%, I'll swear down, it's not him. You're not going to matches anymore. No, I live in Spain, Dan. I live in Spain, mate. I'm just back in England for a couple of weeks. Lee stole the Emirates clock. Well, a certain Twitter account will probably charge you 350 quid for that, mate. It's a massive risk. It is a massive risk. Right, I'm going to wrap this up in 30 seconds. So thank you very much to everybody who's come on. I do appreciate that. Do drive the likes up. Thank you to nearly 800 people still watching live. Like I said, Stellar Fund, big up my real one, day one. Thank you very much, VP. But like I said, big up South London's finest as well. My guy Lee is on his South London militant shit. People are pathetic. Exactly. This is the thing. Like I said, mate, yeah. Whether I do or do not support this manager, how does that affect how you're going to watch the game tomorrow? It doesn't. So you're only doing it to get a couple of retweets because you can't get retweets with your footballing opinion because it stinks. So you have to go for somebody who's bigger in terms of size of account, which is why I've seen so many lesser sized accounts. And that's not me trying to be big-headed or anything like that. I'm still tiny in YouTube terms. But I've seen 3 or 4 people this week make videos about me, waiting for me to jump on it so they get a little bit of clout. Good luck with that. That's none of my business. Because I am boosting Your Dead YouTube channel. And it's funny because one of them is the most pompous twat I've ever spoke to in my life, who thinks his shit don't stink, hates the job that he does. He's openly admitted that. And I fully texted him and told him I'll send him one of my hoodies because he's a salty prick. So there we go. Happy New Year, you filthy animals. Anyway, on that note, will Ty and Claude visit you? No, do you know what? I spoke to Claude earlier. I love Claude, man. Love him to bits, Zane. But listen, I'm going to wrap this up. Jaeger Fund, thank you very much. Arsenal 10234. I haven't got any Jaeger at the minute, but thank you. That can go towards some. So listen, excuse me. My lamb foul is repeating on me. So yeah, listen, I'm going to get myself out of here. And I'm going to have a wicked evening with my family. And I will be back tomorrow. I'll do the daily transfer update. Then I'll be doing the starting 11 reaction about 11:30. The game kicks off at 12:30. I will be doing a live watch along for that. So all come back and check that out. All have a wonderful Friday, whatever it is you're doing. And yeah, we go again tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can beat Duncan Ferguson. Laters, peeps.